After you watch this is when you tell them the man in black suit.
Yeah,
Y'all both wearing black too, right? Look at that. It's almost like
we're both wearing black. And I'm going to show you something. This is crazy. I just happen to have Black Adam on my shirt right now.
Oh, nice.
Hard to see him, but he's up here.
Nice.
My DC Village shirt.
So, thank you for joining us tonight. And it's a Monday, so it must be Granny's PC because that's kind of the time slot we've taken over for a little bit. So thank you for joining us. As always, if you're joining us on the Facebook live stream, if you're joining us on YouTube, or if you're joining us on Twitter or Instagram, wherever you found your podcast, thank you so much. And Jason, Granny's Peach Tea episode 83.
83. Wow, we're like a figure skating routine at this point.
So if you can't tell, we're opening up with the Black Adam theme, as that's going to be our movie of the week. Because it did drop this weekend, and based on the box office, you probably saw it because it made a boatload of money. So
it did. A lot of people saw it.
Yeah, we're excited to talk about that. So, but with me as always is Jason. Jason, what's up, dude?
Hey, how's it going? Good to be here. So happy we got to see Black Adam together yesterday in the IMAX. That was a cool experience. But before we get into real business, I withheld this from you yesterday, Ed, because I wanted to see your reaction. But I got pulled on an unexpected HBO binge. It was not where I expected to go. Last Tuesday, I sat down and watched the first episode of Boardwalk Empire. I enjoyed it, but I was like, I think I need a palate cleanser. This is nothing like The Sopranos, and I still got The Sopranos taste in my mouth. So I came across a show called Adam Ruins Everything on HBO.
Never heard of it.
Max, where it's a comedian who pretty much goes. It's a show where he shows up and gives you statistics to ruin your misconceptions of things. And it's comedic and the such. But the reason I really got into it and started enjoying this, because I realized that there's a read on this show where it takes place in hell and he's the devil. Because he literally, it's a recurring cast, of people that are his friends. And so one instance is his friend and her fiance, or maybe it was her husband at that point. I forget where, because they actually do get married. There's actually a consistent storyline, which is crazy because it's a stupid show about facts. But it's date night. They're about to get down, and he pops out of their closet and ruins sex, and with his facts and the such, which is actually my favorite episode because it's one of the few episodes where the female who he's always torturing takes over to teach him something and kind of tortures him for a bit with knowledge. So little sidebar. I'll be through. This is a quick flash in the pan. I'll be through this by the end of the week. On to my next one, but it was a nice palate cleanser. I figured I'd bring here a little Granny Ruins Everything this week.
Nice. Yeah, I guess you wanted to take a break from your mob rewatch in different eras and stuff like that, right? Because you just knocked out the entire run of Sopranos.
I did, and it was beautiful, and I love the 90s, 2000s. I love the modernistic of it, and it was like kind of a time capsule for the 90s, 2000s, which was nice because I actually lived through that. And then just jumping to a period piece was kind of jarring. So I was like, I need a little breather between a period piece and what I just finished, So, but I did enjoy what I watched of Boardwalk Empire, and gonna get back to that as soon as I'm done watching everything get ruined.
Nice. Let's get to two quick comments here before we jump into our first segment. First comment is from YouTube, Derpy501st. Thanks for checking us out, dude. I don't believe we've seen your comments yet, but Warner Brothers will never learn. So I'm assuming he's referring to our movie for Black Adam. We're gonna have to. We will. Thanks for the comment. We are gonna have to get to that comment when we get to Black Adam. When we do share our thoughts, though, we don't want to go ahead and bury the lead here. But no, thanks for checking us out. And hopefully, you enjoy the rest of the show as well. And Alex is back. What's goody, Alex? What's up, man? What's going on? Thanks as always for joining us, man.
And I realized I didn't text Alex. Alex texted me today, and I'm gonna text you back after the show, Al, that he's just getting around to rewatching the Batman because he was a big fan of that movie. He's very excited to do the rewatch of it, and because he's like me, it's like it takes him a while to do a rewatch. But it's funny because I'm at a point where I'm kind of ready for a rewatch of that movie myself. So Al, I might be joining you in that rewatch soon.
Yeah, I haven't rewatched it in a while, but you know, I usually like to get into in the opening weekend before we do the show, though. I mean, right. It's yes, the second one is mainly show purposes, but exactly. Yeah, no, I haven't rewatched that one in a while, and I've honestly been thinking about it recently. So maybe I'll even join in on his rewatch of the Batman as well.
There you go. Yeah, we could talk about. We have a little small segment talking about our thoughts on the rewatch.
See if it still holds up or not.
That's right.
I wonder.
We'll just keep mining everything. Does this movie from a couple of months ago hold up? Let's find out.
All right. Well, let's get to our first segment of the night, which was we got an MCU trailer that dropped this afternoon. So they kind of caught us off guard because the MCU's thing has been 9 a.m. Eastern on Monday mornings for their trailer drops usually, and they kind of played games and got us at noon today. So, yeah, we got our first trailer for Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. And, man, that was a trailer. That was a serious trailer.
Like, there's a couple things. Like, right in the beginning, they showed the setup for how they get to Quantumania. Like, bang, we know that. Like, and we know that the MCU is saving something up their sleeve. They always do. But I just thought it was bold. The MCU usually doesn't like start off with that smack in the face about this is our movie, you know?
Yeah, and like Derpy 501st just mentioned, this is our first Phase 5 because that's what's kicking off Phase 5 here. And the trailer was the. Now, remember, when we talk about the trailer, we're going to just remind everyone that we talk about it in the sense of the trailer. What did the trailer do its job? And the trailer's job is to get you more excited for the movie than you were prior going into it. I mean, I kind of got what I expected from the trailer, but it definitely achieved the goal because it did get me more excited for it. Definitely feels like, at least from the trailer, we're getting a more serious tone to these Ant-Man movies than the last two.
It does, and it still seems like it has its comedic moments, right? Like we haven't seen the trailer of who could have thought that someone like me, a criminal, an ex-con, could have become an Avenger, and I get this all the time. Thank you, Spider-Man. Like see, we still got some jokes in there. I'm sure it's gonna have because Paul Rudd's just funny. It's a waste not to have him doing, something comedic. But I actually really dig the more serious tone, and I'm going to tell you, this trailer got me excited, and not for just this reason, but it could have been just this reason. Fucking Kang looks awesome, and I'm excited to see because we saw this guy as Immortus, right? That we discussed that on the show. We didn't actually get Kang the Conqueror. We got Immortus, which is a different form of Kang, but this was Kang the Conqueror, and he had the get up and everything, and. That got me excited. He's a B-list Avengers villain that I own multiple action figures of. I'm damn excited for this movie.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty jacked up for it too. As much as I'm excited for, and I had mentioned in the past with Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, I'm excited to get more of the serious tone back in the MCU a bit. Even though I'm enjoying the mostly comedic versions, at least tone that's been going on. Is my favorite part of it was the Baskin Robbins part. Where they actually went back and acknowledged that from the first one. I thought that was pretty great that he got that full awesome. Ant-Man costume really in the Baskin Robbins that looks like Employee of the Month or something like that. So that's pretty awesome.
Yep, that was fantastic.
But yeah, no, definitely psyched. Can't wait. It just looks like a really wild, trippy, adventure movie that we're going to be getting here, and that's right. That's good stuff.
And I like that it's not space and it's not because I'll be honest with you, the only thing I've thought about this movie at all is Kang,
Mm-hmm.
Kang, multiverse. But seeing this trailer, I'm like, shit, motherfucker, I wasn't even listening to the title of this movie, which was Quantumania. We're not going to the multiverse, we're going to the quantum realm. And so what I'm saying is this trailer actually made me excited, not for Kang and multiverse stuff that I was expecting, but for this movie. And I love that it's not in space, but we're getting some alien stuff in the quantum realm. And the visuals we saw, whatever those creatures were, that we saw, in that, I don't know where the hell they were, but when they come out to sort of greet the guys, our people, when they pulled into the quantum realm, I don't know, it looks cool, man. It looks like a space thing, but on the minuscule level.
Yeah. Let's get to 2 quick comments here we got there. First is from Alex. Kang is unstoppable. I hope we get an Empire Strikes Back ending where Kang wins in the film, making him have to hold over the multiverse as it leads directly into Avengers 5. I don't know if we're going to get that. I mean, maybe we do, maybe we don't, but I don't think this leads directly into Avengers 5 since it's the beginning of Phase 5, and Kang Dynasty isn't until Phase 6. So we got movies and shows coming in
the
rest of Phase 5, so I don't know if it's going to be Kang ruling over every show in the meantime, because that would be pretty serious downer right there.
Although I think it would be kind of interesting if they went the Thanos route. And with Thanos, he spends the movie getting his Infinity Gems, right? But I think it'd be kind of fun if Kang spent his reign winning in individual Avengers movies until the 5th one. He wins in this one, he shows up in Captain America, somehow fucks shit up there, wins there. Then he gets to the end, he's like, I've collected the Avengers gauntlet.
I got Derpy 501st. Kang is going to mess some stuff up. No, for sure.
That's right.
More than Thanos, these next 2 phases are going to be crazy. I'm not sure parents will take their kids if they have a serious tone. I'm not saying I think that the Marvel's going to go all in on super serious films for a while, but I think we're just going to get back more onto just a more serious tone than we've been on. Because I feel like Phase 4 was a lot of setups, new origins, new characters, like we talked about for the most part. And it has mostly lent itself to a more comedic tone. I think we're going to get more of a balance now in Phase 5 and 6. As we're heading towards the next 2 Avengers movies, the tone is going to kind of just balance itself out more. The MCU is never going to lose its comedic tone and stuff like that and tongue-in-cheek stuff because that's their bread and butter. And that's fine. I mean, it's part of the reason we enjoy it. And but yeah, sometimes you got to know when it's time to get serious, though. And they did in the in Infinity War and Endgame for the most part too.
And that's what I was gonna say. I think a lot of people being pissed off about Marvel giving us some straight up comedies, whether you like them or not, right? Thor's a straight up comedy. It's an action comedy. Yeah. Shang-Chi has a lot of comedic moments. I'd say that's also an action comedy, just on a different level than Thor. The Spider-Man movies are all comedy filled. And I think we're forgetting, of course they're doing that. They literally just finished a story arc where we watch half the world be blipped into non-existence, just dust. We saw Spider-Man go, I don't want to go, and dust away. Yeah. And then when they were brought back, we all had to realize that, oh shit, there's real world consequences, and which I think they've explored really well in some of those shows. But to constantly berate the MCU for giving us a comedy, it's let's not forget they just gave us a heartbreaking tragedy for comic book fans in those last 2 episodes of Phase 2 of the Infinity War. Yeah. It's they're easing up. They can't just always hammer us with sadness. No one will come and see that.
Yeah, because there's another company called DC that tried that for a little while. When they launched their Snyderverse, which I'm going to put in quotes because we had our conversation yesterday about it.
We did.
Which I just want to stop using that tone, that label of Snyderverse. They tried to go super dark and super over too serious, and that didn't work out overall for most people. So it's the key is the balance, is what you want to strike the balance
exactly
on both sides. And obviously, Derpy's like, yeah, I want dark tone. I want people to die. I think you're going to be getting plenty of some people dying throughout some of these upcoming Avengers movies and a couple of others there too. So I wouldn't be too concerned about that.
I'm sure we're going dark like pretty soon.
Yeah. And she said, Alex is saying Jason's going to show off his Kang figures when you guys cover this film, and he might come another rant of Mojo. Are you expecting? I don't think we're expecting Mojo in Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania.
Look, I'm not saying I'm expecting Mojo, but I'm saying Mojo Mania, dude. I want to go to that alternate universe and I want to review that film. But I'm not saying I'm expecting Mojo. I'm just saying no one ever expects Mojo, yet somehow he appears. So,
dude, it would be great. I actually do hope in some weird way that we get Mojo early on, and when the X-Men get introduced, down the line.
I do too, and I'll tell you exactly how I want it because I've been envisioning this. Like when I was doing stop action movies with my action figures, which is how I started collecting. I had this whole idea of a comedic television show where Mojo just does like comedic. It's like a sketch comedy show, but it's based on Mojo's planet, and it's him being forced by the MCU millions of years into the future when they have 1,000 and 100,000 channels, and it's the Mojo channel, and he has to get something as capture lightning in a bottle, and it's just a sketch comedy show with the MCU players in it, and that's how I want Mojo to make his premiere on Disney. If you're listening, Kevin Feige, I take it. It's yours. I just want it done well.
Copyright Jason Pachetic on that one. All right, so let's jump into our first show of the week because our TV show palette's a little light at the moment, but it'll be picking up soon when Titans returns in 2 weeks. But yeah, we got Stargirl season 3, really episode 7. So, Jason, what do you got?
This is a good scene. This is a good episode. It's a really good episode. They're starting to tie some stuff in. I think we've talked I like all of the episodes of this show, but some of them are lesser than others. This was a good one. So we see the return of a lot of people here. We see the return of what's her name, Jenny, like the Green Lantern's daughter, who we saw at the end of season 2 help them defeat Calypso, and we also see her brother, which is Todd, I think. And we kind of get we see him, and we see when she touches the ring, something's unleashed from him, and these shadows come out, demons come out, and cops pick him up, and he's brought to what's it, Helix, I think it was called.
Yes.
Where Nurse Love, which I just love that. She's in 2 scenes in this episode, but I just love her look and her stature and how she sounds and her name, Nurse Love. But anyway, she brings him in. It's like, oh, we're here to help gifted people, gifted children. It's kind of like, Professor X reminded me of Professor X.
Yes, very much.
The X Mansion. And then we see a guy with a skull head who I don't know who that character is. Do you?
I'm not 100% sure, but I know that they were in the post-credit to the season 2 finale. So they did have that, and I was actually excited that they finally picked that up because I was kind of wondering what the hell happened to that.
Yeah, no, I was too, but I mean, do you know who he is and who that person is in the comic? Is that a comic person?
He is, and I don't recall the name right off the top of my head. I'm not gonna try to fake the funk like I know who he is though.
No, fair enough, and I appreciate that. But yeah, no, because he definitely looked like someone who there was someone watching this episode. Oh shit, there he is! Finally, I know this guy from the comic. It's me, but he followed DC instead of Marvel. I like all of the obscure Marvel villains. Me, who followed DC, that's the person who knows who this guy is.
So, by the way, I'm just gonna say I did Google it. That's Mr. Bones.
All right, nice.
There you
go. Yeah,
Mr. Bones.
Dude, Multiverse me, who follows DC, has no less than 3 Mr. Bones action figures, if they exist.
Oh man!
But so, all right. So that's the setup. We find out like, there's a lot of stuff going on in this episode, and there's a lot of stuff we find out that's just kind of in dialogue. Like it's almost dropped like nothing. Like they take Dragon King being a suspect off the table in a piece of dialogue in this, right? So that shoots my theory, and I mean, but again, it wasn't a big reveal.
No.
Also, the gambler was murdered because he knew about this network of cameras. This is, unless I missed it in the past, this is the first time that motive has been established. No?
Yeah, no, that was the first time. They've no one's mentioned that whatsoever, and I thought that was pretty interesting.
I thought it was too, and just the fact that it was like the gambler was murdered for this. Like, what? This was big. This was just a Beth line dropped in the middle of a scene.
Yeah.
But I like this episode a lot. It's a lot of character stuff. I like that the whole it revolves around Beth uses her Dr. Midnight powers to shut down the power grid to give the JSA and time to locate and dismantle all of the cameras right throughout the town. That's pretty much it. But with the exception of like a small, side jump with Shade, which we'll get to in the B plot. But there's a lot of great character stuff here. So Our Man, we said he was going to be unhinged when he finally became 24-hour man. Wink, wink.
He certainly is.
Becoming unhinged. He's the reason that they kind of fail in their mission because the last camera catches them because he's like walking around fucking strutting and throwing shit. And Beth was like, do you have to keep doing that? And he's like, yeah, it makes me feel good, baby.
He says, I got to flex. And I'm like, dude, really? Do you need to destroy the school, man?
Right, because he's just punching walls for no reason. And look, as an employee of a public school, I can tell you for a fact that if Our Man walks in and punches his fist through a wall, that's not getting fixed for years. That's how the government works. We started to redo our library in our school before the pandemic, and it's just opening this week.
Wow.
That's just the way it works in the city. So, 24-hour man, as an official of a school, man, that's messed up. There's public education that needs to happen there, but nonetheless,
property damage, my friend.
But there, a lot of property damage. I wasn't there for it. I hate Yolanda's parents. I don't say that enough, but I hate Yolanda's parents. And one more time, I fucking hate Yolanda's parents because they are abusive and they're garbage and they like everything she does. Like, yeah, but everything you've done, all right, she fucked up. She had a crush on a guy who took nude pictures of her, right? Or she had sex with. It's like, okay, yes. Was that a mistake? Sure it was. This was 3 years ago when she was 15 or 16. She's like 20 now. I mean, by that logic, right? Like, I mean, she's grown so much. Leave the girl alone. I hate her parents so much. And she leaves. She leaves the house, which I was very happy about. That's her story arc. The mother says, where have you been at night? You've been sneaking out. You snuck in. It's boys, because they're obsessed with
that. She even
that.
says it's drugs.
And it's drugs, yeah, right. And Yolanda is like, it's none of that. You got to trust me. I'm not showing you my phone. And her mom's like, well, then get out or show me your phone. Next thing you see, she's ringing up, Courtney's mom's house, because I always forget that woman's name as much as I like that actress.
It's so ridiculous that neither one of us can remember that.
I know it's.
I will bring it next week. Terrible. Next week I will have the name.
Yeah.
Or I can use my magic.
Keep writing it over. Oh, there you go. So she's out, and then like the really interesting stuff. Not the really interesting, but the B plot stuff that I thought was really interesting is the Shade comes back, and as everyone knows, the Shade's my favorite character.
That. You fucking love the Shade.
I love the Shade, dude. If I were a character in the show, I would be the Shade.
I can see that.
I love it. Good English accent, right? I own a top hat. I wear cloaks. I mean, come on.
Barbara Whitmore, by the way. That's Courtney's mother.
Barbara Whitmore. Okay, Barbara. I got to remember that because that character deserves me to remember her name. Like, it's one thing that I can't remember the son's name. He doesn't deserve my remembrance, but Barbara deserves my remembrance. But then so Shade brings Courtney and Pat. And Pat kind of just comes along for the ride because his his power and Green Lantern's daughter's power has gotten intertwined. And Pat has this great metaphor of like, oh, it's like someone put your peanut butter in my
peanut
chocolate.
butter and
You
chocolate.
put
Yeah,
your chocolate. It's such a great metaphor.
Jason, I want to ask you something quickly, though. I'm sorry, I have to ask this
Yeah.
because I've been asking random people this, and I don't know why. So just roll with me for a second.
I'm here.
You know how they have the saying, peanut butter and jelly. It's like it goes together like peanut butter and jelly, right?
Yes.
Okay. Better combination: peanut butter and jelly or peanut butter and chocolate?
Well, that depends. It
Okay.
depends on the consistency of your peanut butter and how you're eating it. Because if it's a sandwich, unless we're talking a spreadable Nutella, then I would have to
Good
say
point.
jelly. Because if you just throw chunks of chocolate on a sandwich, that's hard on hard, right? You need something liquid, you need some lubricant to eat your peanut butter. So it depends on the consistency of the chocolate. If it's a consistency like Nutella, oh, I'm all for chocolate and peanut butter.
Did you ever make it? I can't believe I'm sorry we sidetracked this, but I had to know this because I've been oddly surveying people this because I just don't know why. Have you made a sandwich like Nutella and peanut butter sandwich?
You know, I never actually thought to do it until just now as I said it.
But I'm going to do it this week, and I will get back to you.
I'm going to be doing it. I am also going to do it this week, and let's discuss. I'm going to go out and buy Nutella and peanut butter. That's right. So we're going to table this, and then you know what? I'll have a completely biased opinion. I will give my son a taste test of peanut butter and jelly and peanut butter and chocolate, and then I'll come back and tell you how much he preferred the chocolate because he loves chocolate.
I'm with him, dude. I mean, that's the absolute weakness. But Reese's peanut butter cup, like a cold Reese's peanut butter cup, is tough to beat, man. Oh man,
nothing. I love, or even if you just let it go room temperature,
yeah,
where it's just a little melty. Oh, it's so good. I love a good Reese's peanut butter cup.
What you don't want is one from a newsstand in the summer in New York City. That's what you don't want, because then you're gonna be wearing that shit.
Or even worse, like the chocolate that's out of date, like you get that in some bodegas where wait, why is this white? This isn't white chocolate. This is supposed to be milk chocolate.
So I'm going to hit you with a little weird thing because I used to run a Godiva years ago. I used to manage one. It's called blooming. Oh,
shit. I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's called blooming when their chocolate turns white. There you go. Learn something new.
Shit, I did. Blooming. You know what? I'm going to make sure that goes into my long-term memory because short-term memory is garbage. Once it gets in the long-term, I've had it forever.
There you go. There's a little fun fact for that because I learned more about chocolate than I probably whatever. I was a manager, so I guess you got to learn something. So.
No, yeah.
But go ahead. Let's get back to this. I sidetracked us into food discussion.
No, it's fun. This is what we're here for. So the Shade brings Courtney and Pat, and the whole thing is that during their fight with Calypso, him and Jenny, I think her name is, Green Lantern's daughter, their powers got intertwined. And so now they got intertwined and they need to be able to untwine them so they can go their separate ways. And they just happen to be in the basement of Helix where Todd is upstairs, seemingly being tortured by Nurse Love and Mr. Bones, right? Is that it, Mr. Bones?
Mr. Bones.
Mr. Bones. Oh god, I think I want to find an action figure of Mr. Bones at this point. But anyway,
you're never gonna forget that now.
I won't. No, Mr. Bones and Blooming. That's my two takeaways from tonight. So they decide that the only way to get them unintertwined is to save Todd. Shade, who likes to pretend he's evil but really is kind of a good guy who just is a curmudgeon, reluctantly agrees, but then helps. But then the reveal is Todd isn't a prisoner being tortured. They're actually protecting the world because he's got something in him that's going to destroy the world. And bang, the Shade and Pat find themselves in what I think is Blue Valley, right? The town or whatever the town's called, but they're in black and white. So it's like, I guess they're back in time or whatever. I'm really hoping we got some time travel here.
Oh, you want them back in like the 20s, I'm sure.
Oh, I do. I want them. Yeah, I love me some time travel. Give me 20s. I'd love that. I want to let's see Shade do the Charleston. I'm in for it.
Oh, that would be awesome. Shade. All right. So I
I,
mean, yeah, trucking along though.
I did. I did have one more thing to point out. Just one. I saved it for the end. Um, this is a recurring thing on this show. It's a recurring thing in my life. It's a recurring thing on these DC, these WB, God, CW, whatever the hell this thing's called. Shows is Zeke played D&D with his grandmother, who was a huge D&D player back in the 80s.
I don't know. This is becoming like a huge thing right now. Like it really is. Like it's all over the place.
It really is. I mean, we had it in the Flash. We've talked about D&D a lot in this show, and I'm usually not the one bringing it up. Like I never just go, "Hey, this is what's going on in my D&D campaign," because there's nothing to do with what we're talking about. But when it does, we talk about it. And I want to point out that Zeke actually mentions that part of the dialogue, which I really liked, was my grandmother used to say she had the belt of dwarven kind, whatever the hell that meant. And the fact is I actually do have a belt of dwarven kind in one of my campaigns, so I knew exactly what that meant. It meant that she had advantage on most checks against dwarves. I think it gives her a spell slot or some sort of there's some other boon. But the best part is it over time makes you grow a dwarf-like beard.
So that's what's happening here. I was wondering what the hell that was. Damn.
I told you that belt that you bought, it was too good to be true.
Yeah, I don't know. It kind of just snuck up on me, man. I'm gonna have to just start shaving more often while I'm rocking this belt over here. All right. So then, yeah, Stargirl moving along at a solid pace. It feels like the big mystery of the gamblers, murder is starting to now they connected it to Helix. So now we have the big cliffhanger at the end of last season finally brought into the fold. So I have a feeling we're going to get story picking up now that it's all connected.
I agree, and now I'm starting to think that the person that we are, the villain that's been watching them since now we know it's not Dragon King, so I was wrong on that one. Mm-hmm. I think it's going to be an inmate in Helix. It's going to be someone we haven't met, or not an inmate, but it's going to be someone like tied to Helix. I think it's going to be someone maybe they're keeping as a prisoner or something. I don't know, because they brought this in. It's got to go somewhere. I mean, where the hell? Like we always see this villain watching the cameras in this room. Right, it's always in the same room doing jigsaw puzzles, which leads me to believe that they can't leave the room. So maybe they themselves are prisoners somehow. I don't know.
Okay, all right. No, that's a fair guess. I was gonna throw around Mr. Bones as the person, but I don't know. This person seems like they're very unhinged and like a monster of some sort because we get like some growling and pounding against the table and stuff.
Right. There's some literal snarling and growling. So yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And it doesn't look like Mr. Bones from behind. I think the reveal is going to be Mr. Bones and Nurse Love are actually good guys.
Okay.
Like actually, Todd is right. They've been keeping him in there to protect the world. Like I don't think they're villains here. I think that's a misdirect.
Okay. Fair enough. All right. Then that gets us to our movie of the week. Then, we're gonna go ahead and we'll flip the title, and we're gonna throw up that spoiler warning because it hasn't even been out for a week yet. But yeah, we got the newest entry into the DCEU, which feels like it's been 78 years in the making. Black Adam finally released this weekend.
I can't. Yeah. I didn't think we'd ever get it.
I don't know, man, because I'm pretty sure this, The Rock was cast as Black Adam like sometime when I was introduced to He-Man, kind of like in third grade or something like that. But, here we are. We finally have the film. So made a boatload of money. I know we had a comment earlier from YouTube. DC will never learn. I guess we'll share overall thoughts at first. Jason, we got to see it together yesterday on the IMAX. what are your overall thoughts before we get into details?
So overall thoughts, like I enjoyed this movie. I was with it, and look, I love The Rock. I love Pierce Brosnan. So it's like I came into this wanting to like it. I actually am interested in the character of Black Adam. I like the fact that they're trying an anti-hero, though he's not really an anti-hero in a lot of the comic, but I guess in some of the comic he is. So it's like whatever. But I really enjoyed it. I actually thought it was a success for DC, and I'm someone who's, when I think DC has done shit, Wonder Woman 84, Batman v Superman, Justice League, I could go on, but no, I don't like people. So people are saying that this is shit. I don't think this is shit. I think it's a lot of fun, but I do think it has some issues. Like I don't think it's perfect. I think we talked about this yesterday. The third act kind of falls apart in a lot of ways. But I think overall, I walked away enjoying it. And I would say if you like comic book movies and you're into just fun with The Rock and Pierce Brosnan looking awesome, like this is worth a watch.
No, for sure. Yeah. So my overall thoughts, and again, we chatted about this on the drive home yesterday, but yeah, listen, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the film. I think it's a fun film. Is it perfect? No, it's not. As a film, that's the difference. I think when I looked at last time I saw the Rotten Tomatoes score, it was like a 55% for the critics and like 90% for the fans. And I could understand both sides of why that's the case. Now, it's a fun film. You're gonna go. I was highly entertained. I think the action was great. You got some great characters like The Rock kills it as Black Adam. Pierce Brosnan's awesome as Dr. Fate. I also enjoyed Hawkman
Guy plays
a lot.
Hawkman.
Yeah, he was also one who I think knocked it out of the park as well. But yeah, there are story problems, and there's also like the kid in the movie I felt was pretty annoying, and I mentioned this yesterday. I just kind of feel like he was shoehorned in as the Black Adam's Freddie Freeman, because Freddie Freeman, has with Billy Batson over there. He was the guy like, oh, here's another kid who reads comics in the DCU and is gonna like help him get a tagline and a nickname and all this other stuff. Like, I just kind of that part of that whole thing felt forced to me. And
I
yeah,
agree.
like,
and I think,
and the first time I saw the film, I didn't really.
No. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I'm interrupting you.
Yeah, no. I walked out of it saying that was entertaining, but man, there was a lot of problems. The second time around, I was able to pinpoint those problems, and yeah, I'm cool with most of it until the third act. There's some cheese throughout it. There's definitely some cheesy dialogue and stuff like that throughout it, and that's fine, whatever. But the third act is when logic starts, like as Jason usually will say, for logic falling apart, hands start getting waved. And it's like Miyagi wax on, wax off, like hand waving we're talking about here. And I think that annoys me when that happens, because it doesn't need to happen. These are minor things you could address that just drive me completely bonkers. And that's where I think that that's where the film has problems. So yeah, I would recommend to check it out. I mean, especially if you're a DCU fan or a DC fan on any level, check it out. If you're a comic book fan, I would definitely recommend checking it out. But no, it's not the Batman. It's not Spider-Man No Way Home. We're just mentioning recent films in the last year or so. It's not any of those films. But it's funny that we had this conversation in the car yesterday. Like, we both liked Eternals, right? We think it's a well-made film and everything. Mm-hmm. But the fun factor, even though it's a better film than Black Adam is, Black Adam's just more fun. Like, I would rewatch Black Adam more often than I would watch Eternals.
If you give me a choice right now to rewatch Black Adam twice in a row or Eternals once, I'd rewatch Black Adam twice in a row. And I'm not insulting Eternals, although it's just a movie that, as I look back on, as I said yesterday, I don't think I'll ever rewatch unless we do a retrospective on this show. It's just, the movie had problems, but I had a lot of fun with it. And I think I can forgive almost anything if I am having fun with what you're presenting to me. And I think that's been my problem with the DCEU when I have problems, is that I'm not having fun. Like that's why like I remember in the beginning I was on the outs because I never really liked much of the Zack Snyder stuff. I was even kind of not talking fondly about Man of Steel, although I love Henry Cavill, not gonna lie about that, but it's because I don't have fun with those movies. And this is a movie that, as flawed as it is, I just had a lot of fun with it.
Yeah. Let's get to some quick comments here. Our boy Bert, by the way. Bert, dude, we haven't seen you in forever. Thanks for checking us out, man. You gotta come on soon, man. Yeah, you gotta have you on soon to chat some stuff with us. But yeah, apparently, and this is kind of what I had a feeling. Overall, Bert enjoyed the film a lot. Fun, different, and The Rock really held back on his Rocky charm to better suit the character of Black Adam.
I agree.
I'm with you 100% on that. It's definitely not perfect, which sounds like we're in line. But I thought it was very solid. And yeah, I think that's basically what we're saying. So it's not like we're in lockstep, Bert, on it. You know, you can acknowledge a film's flaws while still saying you had fun with it. I mean, it's cool. And also, Bert's echoing us, as seeing Dr. Fate fully expressed in the big screen was amazing. I still remember he was on Smallville. I've said it before, I did not watch Smallville for a multitude of reasons, but I've heard good things about it. So, and I know Bert has checked it out. So, I never thought we'd see the character in live action. No, I mean, he was the highlight of the film. He's definitely one of the highlights of the film.
Yeah. I think he's the best looking character in the film. Not to say that the characters look bad, but like he just with the costume and the helmet and even when the helmet's off, it's Pierce Brosnan. There's something just so authentic about that look that like I feel like that really pops out to me. I loved him in this.
Yeah, the suit looked fucking awesome and everything like that. His magic his powers were shown really well, and. Yeah, Bert geeked out when Black Adam sat on a throne at the end. That's the definitive Black Adam panel. No, for sure. It visually looked cool. We're going to get to the throne in a minute because I think it's a good idea for us to explain what our third act logic problems were and not just be vague about it because this is a spoiler discussion, so we can't do that. But I do want to get to Alex's question over here because I'm pretty sure Alex did not see Black Adam yet.
No, I don't think he has.
No, not yet. Do you think this movie is better than Batman? You're going to have to. No, we have many Batman films, so if you want to drop in another comment and say which one.
Here's the thing: I can answer this. If you're talking the Batman, no, the Batman's much better. If you're talking any of the Chris Nolan Batman, no, no. Even I'm a Batman shill. Even that third one, I would watch over Black Adam.
That's what I was waiting to see what you were going to say with that.
That's an argument that could be had. If you're talking Batman 89 or Batman Returns, of course I'm not going to say they're worse. But I'm pretty sure you're talking about the Batman. I think no, the Batman is much better. Spider-Man 3, I enjoyed this more than I enjoy Spider-Man 3 when I watch it.
Oh, all right. So I'm gonna answer that literally because you're right. So. Alex, if it is the Batman, no, the Batman's a better film than this. There's no question about it. And again, I am also a Batman show on some level, but just really being honest, no, I'm gonna go. The Batman is better than this, and that's fine. It doesn't have to be the best movie, a DC movie of the year every year. Still a solid entry. Spider-Man 3, if we're talking about Tobey Maguire Spider-Man 3, no, Black Adam I would watch any day. Twice on Sunday over Spider-Man 3. I think we've expressed very clearly our feelings about, Spider-Man 3 and fake Venom and, Electro and whatever the hell. No, sorry, Electro. Sandman and everything was going on in that crap.
I think Al is just screwing with us on that one.
Of course he is. He's trolling us because he loves Spider-Man 3, and that's cool, dude. I'm actually happy that you enjoyed it because you don't have to experience the anger that I did every time I've watched it.
See, I'm happy that you enjoyed it because watching it through your eyes allowed me to see more that I could appreciate about it, though did not make me love it as much as you do. I'm sorry.
No, and we talked about this again yesterday.
We did.
I go into every movie wanting to enjoy every movie because if I'm just the basic premise of if I'm going to dedicate the runtime of my life to watch it, I want to enjoy it. I don't like hate watching things. Now, when I've seen it
For
already
sure.
and then I have expectations change, yeah, then you can hate watch it, but then you're having fun. That's your enjoyment then, is that you're going to mock it and laugh at it, and that's fine. So it's a different type of enjoyment. Um, all right, so I feel like we mentioned a lot of the positives about Black Adam. Like we both agree the movie looks fantastic. The Rock is great in it.
Yeah.
Pierce
Yep.
Brosnan's Dr. Fate.
Yep.
Hawkman.
Hawkman's
Tons of
fantastic.
action. Yeah, tons of
Yep.
action in it. It's
I
cool.
like a lot of the tone. I like when there's some good humor in there. I think the Rock like trying to do the catchphrase is fun. Like I kind of got Hancock vibes from that, and in a good way. You know, I like that movie.
No,
But
no,
I kinda got,
you and Tony really like that more than I did.
we did, yeah. I know. I remember we did that on the show, and I was like, yeah, we that was that Tony and I became the Wonder Twins. We were like, Wonder Twin powers activate, form of drunk Will Smith. But but you're right. It does have some issues, and I think we've talked about some of the positives, and we should get into some of the dings that we have on it.
Yeah, sorry. So, having said all that, we recommend the film. Whatever, it's fine.
Yep,
I'll
100%.
probably watch. I'm sure I'll watch it again and everything like that. Maybe even in the theater. We'll see.
Yeah, I will definitely buy this on Blu-ray, and I don't buy them all. So, especially DCU, I don't buy them all. So, I will definitely buy this. So that's my ringing endorsement. So I'm about to say nasty things about it because we're looking at it as a film. But don't get me wrong. Overall, this is a fun entry into the DC universe, and I would put it like in like the higher mid tier. Like it's not just middle for me. It's definitely not lower. I'd say it's kind of higher mid.
Yeah,
now let's shit on
man.
it.
Yeah, let's just say, listen, Black Adam, got some problems with you, and here it is. We'll go Festivus style.
Time for the airing of the grievances.
Logic falls apart in the third act, like I mentioned, and where the logic falls apart is, I'll start off with the throne. It's never mentioned at any point in the film that the throne has any kind of magical properties or anything like that. And they're like, oh, we can't have Sabat sit on it. Like, whatever you do, make sure he doesn't sit on it. And when he does, all hell breaks loose, and this weird army of the undead pretty much comes to life simply because the other non-superpowered characters need something to do and something to do besides stand around in the third act. Yeah. And these,
right. And we need something to rally the people together, and that's what it is. It's we've got to have the actual real people doing something. So we're gonna give them these kind of harmless, Ash versus the Evil Dead Deadites coming out. Like, don't worry about it. Just take them down with a pipe.
That was a part of the thing too that pissed me off with that, because yes, he was some cheese, third act cheese. Here it is. Go ahead, munch on it, but. It was just like super, to go with pitch meeting, super easy, barely an inconvenience to destroy these things. They're just hitting them with anything they can find, and the army of the undead is falling apart. It wasn't that big a deal. Anyone could beat them. I had a problem with that. I thought that was kind of goofy. Yeah. And yeah, just mention at some point during the film that the throne has magical properties. That there's a reason, not just completely out of your ass in the third act. Just like, oh my God, do not let him sit on it. That was stupid.
I'm willing to bet, I've been thinking about this a lot since we talked about this yesterday. You had said that there's an R-rated, this was originally an R-rated movie, and then they cut it down, right? Mm-hmm. I'm going to say this, and if I'm wrong, then what I will do is nothing. I'll just say I'm wrong, because I've done enough penance watching shit on this show for fucking David Hasselhoff reasons. But I'm willing to bet that if we actually get an R-rated cut, like on DVD, like that is a bonus. I bet you one of those cutscenes has some mention of the throne. Like, because again, we talked about how the movie actually was good about setting up certain things and following through, even on stupid things where the kid uses, like that scene in the beginning where Black Adam is coming down the like just flying down the stairs in the middle, and the kid is using a skateboard and walking to the stairs using a skateboard. It's a stupid scene that comes back when the kid is being chased by the villains, right?
Yep.
So like this movie was good about setting shit up. I'm willing to bet that line that we're talking about that needed to be in the movie was cut because it's attached to an R-rated scene or something.
And that's fine. And guess what? If we do get the R-rated version of this, and I don't want to go back to the era when we used to get every DCU movie had a theatrical cut to fix all the problems. I don't well, most of the problems. Yeah, I don't want to go back to that era because we're fine. We've had that a couple of times now, and whatever. But they're under new management and everything, so things have gotten better for a while. So that was one of the things. The other thing is very much a storytelling problem is the whole thing when he gets brought to Argus and he gets locked up, and we're going to bring him to Task Force X, and we get this. It was really cool to see Harcourt get her cameo in the film, and it was nice to see her.
That was nice.
That was cool. Let's keep saying, I'll make sure it's all connected. And they bring him there, and it's like, oh, I'm going to say Shazam, and don't let me ever say that again, and all this other stuff. And it's really heartfelt, and I really did wonder, like, hey, are we really ending? We're wrapping the movie up. There's an interesting way to end it. And there's this whole production put into that until 10 minutes later, and it's like, oh, nah, we kind of need him back. And then Dr. Fate goes and gets him back and tells him, you can be the destroyer of worlds or you can be its savior. We need you back. And then he goes through this whole, and we detailed this yesterday when we were talking about it. He goes through when he's just Teth Adam, not superpowered, beats up a bunch of Argus cronies, essentially, and gets through. He's at the bottom of the ocean. He swims all the way up, which he would have died. Let's just say he would have drowned because that doesn't work. And then he's floating on the top, and then he says Shazam. Dude, to get the thing out of your mouth, say Shazam. You're out of there in 2 seconds. Speed up. Let's go. We don't need all this crap. That's a problem.
None of that scene made sense to me because I'm going to be honest. If you ask me, Jason, do you think The Rock, the person The Rock, could come out of that situation with that thing in his mouth and beat down Argus guys and somehow swim up to the top of the ocean and say Shazam? I would say, you know what? The Rock? Yeah, I think he might be able to pull that off. But we're not talking about The Rock, the actor. We're talking about like the non-superpowered Teth Adam, which I don't even. They did give us, I think, his name, but I don't remember it. But this is like the guy who was the father of the real hero, the real champion, the guy who was not a skilled fighter. That's the whole point, that he wasn't a skilled fighter. He was kind of like, no, son, no, you can't fight. He was always trying to protect his son because he wasn't a fighter. He was someone who just was a slave who worked and just did his best for his family. And he couldn't protect his family, right? That's also the point. The whole reason the mother dies and the son dies is because he was on the verge of death and the son gave him the Shazam power. So how the fuck did this guy in the ensuing years as him, not Black Adam with the power, learn how to beat down like multiple people in a street fight? Like I didn't buy that at all. He needed to get out, maybe take a couple hits to the mouth, pull that thing out, say Shazam, then wipe the floor with those guys.
Yeah, and that's it. It would have been over in 2 seconds. It's not adding any unnecessary runtime because I just feel like it's just clunky. You know what I'm saying? Like it doesn't It doesn't work smoothly for the story, and that's why that part really irks me. And then tying in, since we said Shazam, it didn't work for me. But I'm obviously definitely not worthy of it. But pure of heart.
No,
we're not. But so you're telling me Amanda Waller, who knows everything in the entire DCU and probably every version of the multiverse, didn't see Billy Batson on TV as Shazam, and oh wait, this guy says Shazam. He says Shazam. They both got lightning bolts on their chest. Both same power set. I wonder, maybe I should contact this dude and try to go ahead and get him to help me stop Black Adam or reel him in. Now, I will walk this back. If in Shazam Fury of the Gods, we get some sort of thing that explains that maybe they tried to contact him and Billy Batson told her to fuck off or something. I don't know.
Right.
So I'll walk that back lightly. But because they did make a point, DC wanted Black Adam out before Shazam: Fury of the Gods, which makes me start to wonder if we're going to get a Black Adam in their mid-credit scene, which would make me very happy.
Which I'd be cool with that. I don't think Black Adam has a place in this movie coming up, like outside of the credit scene, but I think it's stupid not to put him in that mid-credit scene.
And that's another thing, by the way. I want to mention you made an excellent point of this, because one of my issues is, when are we getting Black Adam versus Shazam? When is this happening? Because it has to happen, right? You don't have the MCU introducing a new Green Goblin or Doc Ock or something, and they fight Daredevil, like first time out. Like, that usually doesn't work. So now, when are they going to fight? But you made a great point, though, because now this is the problem with Sony introduces their Venom, because cash grab, and they introduce him as an anti-hero. So now it's like, why would he ever fight Tom Holland's Spider-Man? And you made a great point, though, because that's a good analogy. Why is the Rock's Black Adam going to fight Shazam? You need to actually have something, even though because he's not really doing evil. Like, this one is very kind of like Deadpool, where you kill people instead of not, like, when you're not supposed to.
Well, that's the thing. Like, we talked about this yesterday. He doesn't kill anyone who doesn't deserve it. That's my stance. No. Like, and you had said to me, like, that you were thinking, like, well, it's kind of weird that, like, the people of this city are like, oh yeah, it's great that you're killing people. And I had pointed out, like, yeah, but he's killing their oppressors. So it's like he actually even makes a point to Hawkman, where Hawkman saves some people, and Hawkman just tries to tell him he's a villain. And Black Adam's like, I'm a villain. These guys have hurt a lot of people. They're going to continue to hurt a lot of people. Well, if you let me kill them, that would stop that hurt. It's like, he's out of line, but he's not wrong,
And I want to know
the meme goes.
Yeah. And I want to know Hawkman's stance on Batman, because it's in the DCU, and we saw Ben Affleck Batman murder some motherfuckers, but granted, he has come around, right? Like, he has seen the better side of things now, but doesn't mean it didn't happen before. So I'm just kind of curious to know what Hawkman knows or doesn't know now. Maybe he doesn't know that much, because in the DCU, Batman was seen as like a myth for a while. That kind of thing.
Right,
so maybe it's not on record. I don't know. Whatever. That's just a very small nitpick, and I'll admit that. That's fine. That's not a ding towards the movie. It was just an observation.
I do want to get back to Black Adam fighting Shazam, though, because now that I'm thinking about it, too, and let's spoil the post-credit scenes. I don't think we've spoiled it
yet. Everything.
Like, we have alluded to it. Like, Henry Cavill comes out as Superman to talk to Black Adam, and it's set up that they're going to fight at some point, which is awesome, right? It's awesome. We're all happy. Who's not happy Henry Cavill's Superman again? I didn't even like those movies that he was in. I loved him, and I wanted him to get his due. I hope they really do some great stuff with him, because I think he's a fantastic Superman. But having said all that, it doesn't make sense at all for this Black Adam to fight Shazam, specifically because this Black Adam's weakness is children. Like, the reason he is Black Adam is because his son sacrificed himself. His child son sacrificed his child self to give him the power. His whole motivation to actually care about humanity is because of the kid, who is often grating, but I think necessary, and the unnecessary parts is them trying to make him like, I'm going to give you a catchphrase, and I'm going to just fulfill this
Freddie
role
Freeman
from Shazam.
He's Freddie Freeman.
I'm going to be Freddie Freeman. Yeah. But I think he has other important roles. I think it's just aspect scenes he's in, because like him bringing people together at the end doing this is necessary, because that's what Black Adam's kid did, right? That
Jay-Z fan,
sort of the whole
dynasty.
Yeah. Yes. That's right.
Rocks in the building.
I didn't realize. I didn't even realize that.
I meant to tell you that because TJ went with me and Angie to see it on Thursday, and said on Friday afternoon. And Jason, you know how I am during a movie. When I go to movies, I am locked in, laser focused. I don't say a fucking word. And said it was like, oh wow.
That's why I love watching movies with you. In the same way.
Yeah, I don't say shit. But when that happened, We both looked at each other quick and were like, "Dynasty."
You're right.
And then
You're
it
right.
was right back to it.
I didn't even think about that. So Hove had to be there. But I think it's the Freeman aspect that's annoying. But so Black Adam's whole thing is he's motivated because he's traumatized. He lost his own son the way he did, and his whole thing about being back in humanity is to protect this kid. Everything he does is to protect this kid because this kid is the stand-in for his son. And let's not forget that Billy Batson's a fucking kid. So I don't see this Black Adam going like I know we'll cover it eventually, but I did watch the cartoon that we're covering of it that we were supposed to cover a couple weeks ago, and
next week we don't
we
have a
didn't get a chance. We'll do it next week. But not to talk much about that, but in that Black Adam's straight up trying to get Shazam to be Billy Batson to fucking snuff him out. It's I don't see this Black Adam doing that. I don't see this Black Adam fighting a child. And
no,
so
my guess is there will be some sort of
to get
misunderstanding.
Right, I guess that'll be it. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. But then that's the thing is the movie then could not be Black Adam versus Shazam. It would have to be Black Adam and Shazam coming together, but having that misunderstanding. Black Adam's never going to be the full antagonist of a Shazam movie.
I agree with you. They'll probably do what the classic Hollywood movie thing is now, like Batman versus Superman. Black Adam versus Shazam. There's a misunderstanding. Right. They have two fights. One guy gets the upper hand. The other guy gets the upper hand. Then misunderstanding is gone.
Doomsday shows up.
Fight. Yes, exactly. And then, wait a second. Why the hell is Martian Manhunter here? Because we need a random other person. What's going on? What?
Wonder Woman's here. Why? She's promoting her third movie. It's fine. Just let her talk for 15 minutes to tell you all about it.
Oh, no. How about
Wonder Woman 97?
No, this is where we're going to introduce the DCU's Green Arrow. Why? I don't know. He's just here.
Right.
It has to be someone who doesn't exist
Wonder Woman. I want Wonder Woman 99, where it's not even a movie about her being a superhero. It's a movie about her still really broken up about Chris Pine's death, eating ice cream, watching the first season of The Sopranos. But Melfi's great. I just Gal Gadot eating ice cream, watching The Sopranos. I'd watch that for 2 hours plus.
Oh, me too, for sure. So I think another nitpick that I have, and it's because the movie stresses it, is why, and I have to bring it up. Where does Seth Adam learn English? Yes, I know why he's speaking English, because we don't want to have a movie full of subtitles. Fine, but you do set up the fact that they're speaking another language, right? They're using it. He wakes up out of his slumber still using it and still speaking in that language, right? Because he does speak his first bunch of lines in it after he wrecks shop on that whole crew and everything. Then he just knows English when he wakes up in the apartment. English, perfectly spoken, knows everything, good to go. It's just a stupid detail that annoyed me. I was just kind of just throwing a line there quickly or something, just maybe even acknowledges, hey, from the wisdom part of it, and I'll give credit to Angie on that. Maybe the wisdom in the Shazam nice somehow gave her English. Fun. Yeah, I'm not going to go ahead. I'm not going to steal shit from anyone. But that's all you needed. But there's no acknowledgement of it whatsoever. It's kind of goofy to me.
I agree. I hand waved it, but you're right. It could have been a line. It could have just been he could have woken up and started talking in English to the kid. And the kid said, "Wait, you speak English now?" And it's yes, one of my gifts is picking up languages because of the wizards. Bang, we're done.
Bang,
now get back to the scene.
Yeah, I'm good to go. Yeah, but that's pretty much those are. So basically, our nitpicks are some details and the flow of the story, but the whole Task Force X thing that was my beef. So I know you got all this.
I do want to talk about. I think my biggest beef, actually, it isn't just contained in the third act. My biggest beef is half of the Justice Society that's sent. The useless half.
Yes. I almost forgot about that.
I don't understand why Quantum Man. What's that guy's name?
No, Adam Smasher and Cyclone.
Oh, Okay, I don't understand why they're there. They serve no purpose outside to pad the runtime, have a little comic relief. No, not even both of them. He has comic relief. They
Yeah.
pretend to have sexual chemistry no one cares about. She
That's
looks
true.
really cool. Like
Yes.
I'll give that. Like she looks super cool, but she's useless. And
Yes.
he's worse than useless. The only thing that makes him not worse than useless is he got Henry Winkler a cameo in this movie because they don't do anything.
Hey!
The Fonz was he was like, "Hey, bring the suit back." Hey,
Hey, did I
but
tell you,
he
by the
should
way,
have.
did I tell you when we were in Milwaukee last month that there was a bronze Fonz in Milwaukee? Like
What?
it's a thing to
No,
see. I'm gonna send you a picture that I took of
please
the
do.
bronze Fonz. It's in Milwaukee. It's like a
I
tourist attraction.
I think I need to go to Milwaukee just to get a picture with the bronze Fonz.
You probably wouldn't be the only one.
No, I'm sure it wouldn't be. And
No, you wouldn't.
then I could go to the Milwaukee Brewery and I can maybe I can hit on Laverne and or Shirley. Huh?
Just say you got to go
You're
to put
70s
a
chick.
glove on a beer bottle and stuff.
That's right. That's right. And didn't Mork and Mindy also take place in it wasn't like they're all
I
spin-offs
don't
of
know.
Happy Days.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm
I
pretty
don't
sure
know.
Mork and Mindy were on Laverne and Shirley.
Yeah, probably. There you go. Another one. Original OG shared universe. The
That's
MCU
right.
is ripping that off.
That was the most progressive crossover right there. Mork and Mindy and the Fonz. But yeah, no. So the two characters I thought were useless. They didn't really use them at all. I actually would have, and I also felt that we didn't get enough Doctor Fate. And so like I don't understand why we had those two characters except for to introduce more characters. We should have it should have just been like Hawkman calling in a favor from Dr. Fate, going on it's not a JSA mission, it's just an unofficial Amanda Waller favor, him and his old friend, because Hawkman and Dr. Fate stuff is great. Their friendship is great. The conversation where Dr. Fate kind of lets it go that Hawkman's going to die, but then says, we'll table this until it happens. And then he switches it. I don't want my friend to die. Their stuff is fantastic, but there, we could have had more of that. And if we just took out those two kids that do nothing in the movie. So that's my big gripe is that we lost Dr. Fate. I mean, he dies, guys. That's spoilers. He dies at the end. We're not getting any more fucking Pierce Brosnan, Dr. Fate, probably. We should have had him more in this movie and less of those useless characters.
Yeah. Well, I'm also, Pierce is, man, how old is Pierce Brosnan now? He's up there, obviously.
He's ageless. He's ageless.
Let's see.
He's still as hot as he was in James Bond, just older.
He's 69 years old.
What?
There you go. Yeah, but I don't know. Maybe he just wasn't going to be long for the franchise. They were like, all right, let's get him in here to do his thing and be the man. Like every time Pierce Brosnan shows up, he's the man.
For sure. And I'm cool with him dying. I like his death at the end. I think it's an earned death. I loved everything about his character. Actually, I was watching this movie and I watched Black Adam just be a god for like a great deal. And then they put the JSA together and I'm like, I don't know what Dr. Fate's about, but none of these other fucking guys, including Hawkman, which I like it just in the comic, like really stand a chance here. I don't know, man. Is Black Adam's going to mop the floor with them? But when you see Dr. Fate fight him, I'm like, oh, okay, good. This is the muscle. And then that also, again, this movie does a good job of that foreshadowing because that foreshadows the end where Dr. Fate realizes, like with Black Adam, I can't beat this guy. I can only, keep him, just distract him for a while. So he has that whole fight with the demon at the end, which is just a distraction to get Black Adam there. So I don't know. That worked for me a lot. But I wish we would have had more of them. That's all. I just wish there was more of him in this movie, and then that's all we get, and I'm okay.
No, I agree. And I think, and the cameo obviously is the big crowd-pleasing point that we get, which we pretty much covered. Henry Cavill shows up as Superman. They kind of set it up. That was awesome to see. And both times I've seen it, that got a pretty good reaction, from the crowd. So it's just funny to me because, like, a lot of people, like you said, like, were kind of on both sides of Man of Steel, even though I enjoy Man of Steel and I'm a big proponent of Henry Cavill as Superman. But it seems like the general public, just everyone was like just waiting for him to come back. Like they now, maybe some people have come around over time. I don't know. I found that interesting because yeah.
And for me, like again, I still don't even like. I like certain. I like parts of Man of Steel. I like half of that movie. I think I really like half of that movie, and I really dislike the other half. And I think that's the problem. But regardless of any of that, like my problem with that movie was not Henry Cavill. My problem with the movies he was in was never him. Like I always was kind of like, shit, this guy's being wasted.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, I guess just quickly before we wrap up, because you had mentioned it earlier, where would I place Black Adam in the DCU rankings that we did? So, obviously above 84, Wonder Woman 84. Obviously above, for me, Suicide Squad, above Birds of Prey.
Yep.
No,
not for me.
No, and I know our DCU rankings are very different.
They are, yeah. I'm just responding because I'm trying to figure out where I would put it as well.
I wouldn't put it ahead of the Suicide Squad, and I wouldn't put it ahead of. I wouldn't put it ahead of Shazam, because I do.
Nope.
I hold Shazam very dear for me in my DCU rankings.
Yep, for sure.
I wouldn't say it's above the first Wonder Woman. Man, I like Man of Steel more. I know you don't, but I'm not going to put the head of Man of Steel.
Man of Steel.
I think it might be right there then, around Man of Steel, Aquaman area.
Yeah, I put this around the Aquaman area for me, for sure.
Yeah, because that's where I am at, and then because I would still put it above the BVS Ultimate Edition. I will make sure I stress Ultimate Edition because the theatrical version is crap. Yeah, I guess that's where it is for me. So it is kind of like middle of the pack to slightly higher tier.
Yeah, and I'm going to say this, and I'm sure this is going to piss some people off. Might piss you off. I'd put this above Zack Snyder's 9-Hour Justice League for one very, very important reason.
Wow, I actually forgot to put that in there for a second.
I enjoyed a lot of aspects of Zack Snyder's Justice League, though I did have a lot of critiques. It's the Eternals thing. I'm never going to rewatch that. I would rewatch this. Like that's the determining factor. It's not even like what's a better movie, because it's unfair. Zack Snyder had fucking reshoots in years, and he it's apples and oranges to compare movies. But so with that, it becomes rewatchability for me.
Yeah, so all right. So I'll clarify that Zack Snyder's Justice League is above Man of Steel for me. But you're right. The rewatch of my own personal only ding against Zack Snyder's Justice League is the runtime. I enjoy it. I think it's epic. I liked it. It was great to get a good Justice League movie because all we had was Justice League prior. So it gets a lot of kudos for that. But you're right. It is hard to compare these two. Black Adam is definitely more rewatchable, and it is more fun than Zack Snyder's Justice League. So I'll leave that. Yeah. But I think Zack Snyder's Justice League is a better movie because it doesn't have the third act problems that this does.
For sure.
There you go. So we got into detail on it. All right. You got anything else on Black Adam before we wrap this thing up?
No. You know what? I did want to say that I do applaud this movie for at least calling out colonization. Like, I know it didn't go crazy into it. I don't think it was the place to go crazy into it, but I do like that it kind of read my mind when the Justice Society of America shows up and they're like, we're here for justice, we're taking away Black Adam, and the people are like, and then the woman who's like the main human character is like, we've been run by warlords for like 28 years and we've never seen you, and now we have a protector and you're here. Who the hell are you? Get out of here. Go back to America with justice. I kind of like that because I was thinking the same thing. It's like, I don't know, it's kind of a very imperialistic idea to say we now need to go to your country and tell you what's what in how you're going to protect yourself after not helping you about all these outside invaders that didn't have superpowers. Like, I don't know. I thought it was interesting. I applaud that it added it in. I know people are saying that it should have went farther. I don't agree. It's a comic book movie. I think it went as far as it should have on it.
Yeah, I'm with you on Lockstep. I know we chatted about it, but yeah, I'm with you on Lockstep. And you addressed what you had to say. It's a fair point. It's a smart point. So, and that's the thing. A movie that's smart, which was able to acknowledge that the right way, then that's why I guess also the logic problems later fall apart for me, because you showed that you were smart and you were putting together earlier, but then later on, it was like, all right, let's go.
And then I do wonder too, because you did say about the R-rated thing. Like, I mean, how much of the flaws that we're pointing out are editing issues?
I don't know, because that's what when I saw BVS in the theatrical cut, I walked out of that telling Angie, man, I loved Batman in that movie. Man, I loved Wonder Woman in that movie. Superman just needed more to do. But then I pointed out all these logical problems, and that's why I guess I appreciate the Ultimate Edition so much more, because it filled a lot of the logical gaps that I had. Not all of them, most of them. But there's still some pretty big ones. So I hope we do get the R-rated version of Black Adam. If it exists, I can't imagine why they wouldn't have it.
And I'm going to say this, Ed, if it does come out on Blu-ray, because we're both going to buy it, yes. I say if there's significant changes, we should at least dedicate a small, maybe not the movie segment of this, but we should, if it's a significantly different movie, we should have a revisit of it when it comes out, if we do get it.
Agreed. Absolutely. I'm here for it. You know that. All right. Well, let's go ahead and drop that and do this. All right. Well, thanks for joining us. As always, if you joined us on the Facebook live stream, go ahead and check out Granny's Peach Tea's Facebook group. Yep, the show's got its own Facebook group. You can check out the trailers. You can see the trailer we were talking about earlier with Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania that was posted earlier, along with a really cool official poster that they dropped. Check that out. There's comments and stories and all this other stuff. If you want to know more about the DCU and a lot of things that were revealed, you can check out. I had shared an article with the Hollywood Reporter. It came out last week, but I was very vague about what I wrote on it because I didn't want spoilers, because it does mention some Henry Cavill Superman stuff. So you can go ahead and check that out. There's a lot of cool things apparently coming down the pipeline that DC at least has lined up now under new ownership. So we all want to get better stuff. So check that stuff out. PopCulturePros.com. Check out Pop Culture Pros. That's who we're presented by. On Facebook, join Pop Culture Pros group. If you're joining us on YouTube, hit subscribe for Pop Culture Pros. Twitter, give us a follow at Pop Culture Pros. Instagram, Pop Culture Pros, and wherever you found your podcast. So we will be back next week. We'll be talking about more Stargirl. We will finally get to the Superman and Shazam, the return of Black Adam, because we've been putting it off. It's a lot of good stuff we wanted to get to, but that will be our movie of the week next week, 100%. So you can come check us out for that next week. And then after that, we'll be going over the original Black Panther the week after, leading up to Black Panther Wakanda Forever. So
exciting.
We got some cool stuff coming down the pipeline, so come check us out. And check out all the stuff that's on Pop Culture Pros. We got football coverage. Baseball season has just wrapped up for both New York teams, so those shows we got our closeout show for Empire 161. So come check us out. We're gonna try to get that up this week.
Ed, I'm so sorry. By the way, I know. I'm very sorry. I'm here for you if you need me.
I appreciate it. I will be all right. Getting to do this helped. So put it that way. We got to do the show.
Good.
That definitely put a smile on our face again. And then check out all the other stuff that's here. So we will see you next week. Peace.